The E2 Investor Visa. Eligibility. To be eligible for an E2 visa, the person applying for the visa must be born in or be a naturalized citizen of one of the countries that America has a treaty with. You must be coming to the United States to invest in a new or existing business. The premise of the E2 visa is to allow you as an investor to settle in the United States as a business owner. You can choose to start your own business or to purchase a pre-existing business. It is advisable for the investor to create and register a corporation or an LLC for the business. He or she will also need to provide a detailed business plan with 2 to 5 year projections of revenues as well as staffing needs. Your investment must be a bona fide business and may not be marginal. A bona fide business is one that produces services or goods for profit. The Immigration Service will often describe a business that only has the potential to provide a salary for the investor, him or herself, and their family as a marginal enterprise, and they will cite this as a basis for denial of an E2 visa. At MJ Law, our attorneys will thoroughly review the business plan the investor provides in order to determine whether this is a potential weakness. The funds must be committed to your business, and you must be able to provide the source of your funding. If you're planning to start your own business, then you will need to start making business expenditures prior to applying for the visa. If you are planning to buy an existing business, then you will need to at least enter into contract to purchase the business and place the purchase funds in escrow. Otherwise, the purchase must have already been completed prior to applying for the visa. The funds you invest must be your own. You will need to be able to show where the funds will come from to fully fund your business and be able to show that you have already committed these funds to launching your business. You must be coming to the United States to develop and direct the business. You must show that you will develop and direct the business by demonstrating at least 50% ownership. You must intend to oversee the management of your business on a day-to-day basis. The E2 visa holder cannot start or buy a business and then once that business is doing well, obtain additional employment somewhere else. The principal E2 visa holder is required to personally run their business and keep it in compliance with all the E2 visa regulations. Spouse and child visas. The spouse of the E2 visa holder will be granted a work permit so that they are legally permitted to work anywhere they want. The spouse will also be permitted to pursue permanent resident status, also known as a green card, via a petition filed by his or her employer. The green card petition filed by the spouse could also include the investor, him or herself, as part of the petition. The E2 visa holder's children are also permitted to attend publicly funded schools in the United States through high school. However, once they reach the age of 21, they are no longer permitted to be included in the E2 renewal petition filed by their parents. Length of your E2 visa. When applying for your initial E2 visa from within the U.S., if approved, you will always be granted 2 years, no exceptions. If you apply for your initial E2 visa from the U.S. Embassy in your home country and are approved, they will typically grant you a visa for 2 to 3 years. The U.S. Embassy has the discretion to grant an initial E2 visa for up to 5 years if the business is already well established and the investment is very high indeed. Renewing your E2 visa. There is no limit on how many times you can renew your E2 visa. As long as you keep your business in compliance with the E2 visa regulations, you will be able to renew your E2 visa as many times as you wish. If you apply for your renewal from within the U.S. and are approved, you will always be granted for 2 years. If you apply for your renewal from the U.S. Embassy in your home country, you could be granted up to 5 years. Minimum and maximum investment. The E2 visa regulations make no minimum or maximum investment requirement, only that the investment amount must be sufficiently substantial to purchase a majority interest in the business that is proportionate to its value. However, even though there is no dollar minimum for an investment amount, in our firm's experience, investments under $100,000 are generally considered as being insufficient to realistically provide for a business that will support anyone other than the investor and his or her immediate family.